Are you financially behind the average Canadian based on your age? Well, according to the most recent data on the Canadian government website, the average net worth in Canada has been rapidly increasing over the past few years. But at the same time, the wealth gap between the rich and the poor has steadily been increasing as well. And so, what is the average net worth in Canada by age? Where do you stand? And what should you do about it in order to get ahead? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Hey, my name is Michael Lee Kim, and I'm a personal finance coach, CPA, and TEDx speaker. And I've helped over 100 plus clients learn how to use money to design a life they actually love. And so your net worth is essentially your current financial situation if you were to sell all of your assets and pay off all of your liabilities. And so to calculate your net worth, you just take your total assets minus your total liabilities. And so based on this data from the Canadian government website, here is the average net worth by age from 2005 to 2023. And so let's focus on the most recent data of 2023. For under 35, the average net worth was $459,000. From ages 35 to 44, the average net worth was $753,000. From ages 45 to 54, the average net worth was $1.1 million. From ages 55 to 64, the average net worth was $1.3 million. And lastly, from ages 65 plus, the average net worth was $1.2 million. Now let's take a look at the year-over-year growth rate. What's interesting is that we see the highest year-over-year growth rate with ages under 35 of 20% in 2023. And this is likely due to the rapidly increasing real estate prices. But Canada is a really big country, and so let's take a more in-depth view of the average net worth by age by province in 2023. And as you can see, the average net worth varies significantly by province, with the highest being Ontario and BC, and the lowest being Atlantic and Quebec. And so now let's take a look at the growth rate per province. The interesting thing here is that we see the greatest growth rate between ages under 35, 35 to 44, and then ages 42 to 54, with an average of 64% and 56% respectively. And this really just goes to show the importance of building wealth in your early 20s, 30s, and 40s, because this is the time when you're at your highest earning potential and you have the luxury of time to allow your investments to grow and compound over time. And as you get closer to that retirement age, it'll just become more and more difficult for you to build wealth. But is the average net worth really the best metric to compare yourself to? As I mentioned earlier, the wealth gap between the rich and the poor has been steadily increasing over the past few years. According to Statistics Canada, the top 20% of Canadian households holds more than 2/3 of the total country's net worth, averaging about $3.4 million per household. In contrast, the bottom 40% only hold 3% of the total Canadians' net worth, averaging about $70,000 per household. And this is about a 0.3% increase since 2023. And that's the reason why the average net worth may not be the best metric, but because it's skewed by the ultra wealthy and the poor. And so the better metric of the average net worth could be the median net worth. If you remember from elementary school, the median number is really just the middle number in a data set. And so here is the median net worth by age and by province in 2023. And so I'm curious, looking at this chart here, are you behind, on track, or ahead of the median Canadian's net worth? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, but whether you're behind, on track, or ahead, does it even really matter? Well, one of the most common questions that I get from my clients is, Michael, am I behind? And the truth is, I never compare my clients to these metrics. And really, neither should you. And here's why. Firstly, we all come from completely different financial situations. For example, I had a client who paid her entire university tuition on her own. And so by the time she graduated, she literally had $0 in saving. Where I had another client where his parents paid his entire university tuition, and so by the time he graduated, he had a lot of extra savings. And so to compare these two people who come from completely different financial situations really isn't a fair comparison. And secondly, we all have completely different financial goals. You see, the life that you want and that will make you happy is likely going to look really different from your friends and family. For example, I admit, I sometimes compare myself to my friends who have a nice six-figure salary job, have their own condo, and live in Canada, compared to me, who runs my own business, doesn't have a condo, and spends most of the year traveling around the world. But the thing is, we have completely different goals in life. And so there's really no point comparing myself to my friends when we're working towards completely different things. And that's why comparing yourself to the average Canadian's net worth doesn't and shouldn't matter, because we all come from completely different financial situations and have different financial goals. But then you might be wondering, if you shouldn't compare yourself to the average Canadian's net worth, how do you figure out if you're behind, on track, or ahead? Well, since you're the only person with your unique financial situation and goals, the only person that you should be comparing yourself with is yourself. And this is why you need a financial plan. And the benefit of having this plan is that you can track your progress towards your financial goals based on the initial plan that you set. For example, let's say today you set a financial plan to be able to retire by 30. Well, if 10 years go by and you're nowhere near this goal, now you actually know that you're behind on your schedule. And so this is what you should be comparing yourself to, not the average Canadian's net worth. Because your goal is building a life that you love, not what the average Canadian is doing. And so if you want to learn how to build a simple financial plan in under 10 minutes, then get my free money plan template. Just go to michaelleekim.com/plan. We often like to compare ourselves to others because it helps us figure out where we stand and what we should be doing. But when it comes to your personal finances, this is a really big mistake. Because your friends and peers come from a different financial situation and have completely different financial goals. And so if you just blindly do what they're doing, you might end up making a bad financial decision, or worse, end up with a life that you don't even want. And that's the reason why the only person that you should be comparing yourself with is yourself. And so today, I want to ask you, what is a life that will make you happy? And what do you need to start doing today in order to make this happen? This is a secret to build a life you actually love. And so now you're probably trying to figure out how to build a financial plan to figure out whether you're behind, on track, or ahead. And so watch this video right over here where I share the 6 steps to build yourself a simple financial plan in under 10 minutes.